Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're hearing me from. Today is Sunday, is the 14th of January 2024. We thank God for His grace and mercy that we are alive to see another week. We give Him all the glory, adoration, and praises. Today, I'm going to talk about Jesus Christ, the qualifier. It says Jesus Christ, the qualifier, which means Jesus Christ calls the unqualified and He qualifies them. And I'm going to read from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26. I read again. I said from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26. And it says, "For you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called." Now, this is just telling us that, it's just telling us how it's not only the nobles, not only the rich, not only the mighty that are called. In short, he said, not many of them are called. Not many of them are called, so that I guess at the end of the day, they won't start saying it's my strength, it's my influence, it's my money, it's my position, it's my wisdom, or whatever that is doing this work, and not God. So, and the issue, what I'm trying to talk here about, is God, Jesus Christ, calling us to qualify us. So many of us, we feel we are not qualified enough when we get a call. I know the calls are so many. It's in different ways. When you have a call, it doesn't mean, and everybody has it, it doesn't mean that you have to go and start a church. That's not what it means for different callings that God has called us for. You can be in your church and you'll be doing something there. You can even be in the church and God will call you outside, to be doing something else, like maybe going for evangelism, maybe some people going to the hospital to pray for people, some people going to the prison, you have that assignment that God has called you for. But so many of us, we look at it that we are not qualified. And when Jesus Christ called us, He didn't look at your level of education. It's not looking at your status in the society. It's not looking at who your parents are. It doesn't care if your father or your mother was a pastor or not. It doesn't care if your father was an herbalist. It doesn't care if you're of another religion. He knows what He has called you. He knows what He has deposited in you. And He's going to call you out of wherever. If you are in maybe doing something else, that He will call you from there, so that for you to answer the call, so that you can do the assignment that He has placed in your hands. But so many of us, we doubt ourselves. We think we don't have that qualification enough because of so many different reasons best known to us. We can look at the story of Gideon, for example. Gideon chapter 6, if we read verse 12 to 15, and when the angel appeared to him and greeted him, and he called him man of valor and everything like that, like man of war. He was angry with it, I guess with the greeting, because the response he gave the angel was like, so how can you call me that and all that? And all this media night, this is what they are doing to us, and all that. And we've heard stories from our forefathers, how they were delivered from Egypt. He said all those things. And the next day, the angel told him, he said, well, you have been given the strength, the might to go and deliver the Israelites. He looked at the man, the reply he gave us. He didn't know it was an angel at first, because the reply he gave was, me. Even he said his own family is the last in the tribe of Manasseh. And he himself, Gideon, is the least of his father's children. His family is the poorest. They are very poor. In the family of Manasseh, that his own family, they are very poor. Then he himself is the least among his father's children. So he looked at it. So to him, there's doubt there, because he's look at the background, look at my family background. How can you say God has called me to do this? It's not possible. It's not visible. It's looking at his background, and it's looking at himself. To him, I'm the least in the family of my father's children. I'm the one that didn't go to school. I'm the one that don't know how to do this. I'm the one that don't know how to do that. I'm the one that is hated most. I'm the one that is talked down most in the family. So how can it be me? That's why I said Jesus Christ calls the unqualified to qualify them. Those that the society looked down on, as being unqualified, they are qualified. They just can't see what that person has inside of them. What that person, what those people, what they have inside of them, they can't see it. So they can be there, even in the family. Among family, some people will look at you, you can all, you all grew up together and everything, but God will pick that one person. It doesn't mean that the other people are bad or anything. No, He knows what He has deposited in each and every one of you in the family. So every one of them has their own assignment. It may just be maybe this one will be a bit loud more or whatever. So don't let anybody disqualify you. Don't even disqualify yourself. When God has called you, when God has qualified you, why would you want to disqualify yourself? Because that was what Gideon was trying to do there. And remember when Moses was even called, he gave an excuse to a stammerer. He was already trying to disqualify himself. And he's a murderer. God didn't even look at it that way. That he's a murderer. He knows what He has placed inside Moses. He knows what is deposited in Moses, what He put in Moses. And that assignment has to be fulfilled. And Moses is the first person to be used for that assignment. So, but God didn't allow him, didn't allow him to disqualify himself. And the same thing with Gideon too. That is doubting. They were already doubting themselves. And we have people, and we have some that it's even friends, it's family, it's neighbors, it's colleagues that are like stumbling block. Because they look at you like, what's she doing? What is he doing? Because they know you. Maybe right from baby, toddler or something like that, or even from baby when you were born. Some it may even not be that, maybe colleagues you've known for years, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, and they look at you one day, and even in church, they look at you one day. This one has, no. It's the time that it was supposed to start, that's when God is bringing it up, but it's been there all along. If we look at the story of David, when Prophet Samuel went there, and all the other sons were coming out, at the end of the day, God kept rejecting them. But David's father never for one day, for all those periods when he was bringing out all the other sons, he never talked about David. Because to him, David is nothing. Is the least. Now, someone had to ask, do you have another son? Because he knows what God told him. That was where God asked him to go to, Jesus' house. And when it went there, when he asked him, he said, yes, we still have a son, he's in the field, in the pasture taking care of the sheep and everything. He said, go call him. And he told every one of them that he said, nobody's going to sit until the boy gets here. And when they got there, what happened? They anointed him in the presence of the siblings there. So this is the one that the father already even rejected. They even look at it that anything good, can come out from David. But God knows what He has deposited in that man. And there was noise. The noise, that is the distraction. But Samuel did not look at that. He waited. He said, no, we have to wait for him to come. So you can have people around you that might want to discourage you. It can be some they don't understand, and genuinely speaking, some they don't even understand. So the discouragement, it may be from real genuine concern or something like that. Some it's envy, some it's jealousy. It's envy. Though they won't come out and say it to your face, but it is. So when God has called you, you don't have to start doubting. Take doubt out of it. God saw your back. He knew where you came out from. He knew who your mother and your father was before He called you. Even if we look at the story of, let's take, I think it's in John. Yes, John 1. John 1, 45 to 46. When Philip told Nathanael, he said, come. We've seen the person they've been talking about, that Moses wrote in the law and other prophets. He said, Jesus Christ, of Nazareth. You know what Nathanael told him? He said, can anything good come out of Nazareth. That means a whole city, can you imagine? A whole city is being condemned. They look down. They don't even look at Nazareth as having anything good at all. That was the statement that was made. And that one said, come and go and see yourself. So that's a whole city being condemned, being condemned. So I'm sure it's not the only, for him to have said that, that is the talk of the town there amongst people then during their time. So you don't let anybody, because God won't ask for anybody's permission before he calls you. So don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let the noise around you be a distraction. And don't ever doubt yourself. When God calls you, our own is to answer. He's going to provide the resources that we need. The resources you need to do the assignments he has called you for, he will provide it. Is it the money, whatever? And it's people that he's even going to use anyway. It's not that it's going to rain money down from heaven. It's people. And your assignment doesn't have to be much. It depends on whatever God has called you for. Your assignment can be just among your siblings, in your family. It can be in the town, the community where you live. It can be in your school. It can be in your church. Your assignment can be, in your neighborhood. Your assignment it can even be for the nation. It can be for the world. All we have to remember is Jesus Christ qualifies us. He calls the unqualified and qualifies them. That's all that matters. If you know, and it's true, that God that genuinely called you to do whatever it is. It may be like a YouTube channel like this that I'm doing. It may be going out to evangelize, It may, anything God has called, just do it. Go ahead and do it. Ignore the noises around you. And the doubts, you have to do away with it. Because when you start doubting, that means you don't trust God. You don't have faith. You don't believe in him. And if you don't, that means you can't do what he has called you to do. And remember that assignment that he has called you for, there are people attached to that, their lives that is attached to it too. It may be even in the hospital, maybe going to the hospital to pray for the sick, or maybe going to the prison, going to schools. It can be anything. I don't know. The people have different assignment that God has called them for. Some people take care of the elderly. Some people give to the orphanage or anything. What has God called you for? What assignment has God given you? Don't sit on it. Don't look at yourself that you are not qualified enough. You are not rich enough. Your background, you're not from your family is known for negative things in the community. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let people judge you if they want to. Let them laugh at you. Let them mock you. It's normal. They did it to Jesus when he was alive, so you are not different. Jesus even said it, for his name's sake, all of us will go through the persecution. It will even come from amongst us brethren, that you in the church, you pray, you fast, you do everything together. You'll be shocked. But you don't have to look at that. It's because they lack understanding. That is it. They lack understanding. So when God calls you, that means he has qualified you. Even when Samuel was there and he was looking at all these fine men that God is saying, no, God told him, no, I'm not looking at their faces. I'm not looking at their faces. I'm looking at their hearts. And that is what God is looking at. God has called you. He has given you that assignment. He has qualified you. All the resources that you need, they are all ready. All the resources you need is ready. All we have to do is just say, yes, sir. And we start. And we see God move. And we see God do what only him can do. I hope I've been able to encourage us with this, that when God calls you, you answer. Don't look at your background. Don't look at your status in the family. Don't look at people that are talking. Don't let the noise of the market be a distraction to you. Don't let the noise of people be a distraction to you. It is normal. They will always do it. It can never stop. Even when we grow old and we go, it will continue. But ours is to do what? Is to remain faithful to that which God has placed in our hand and do it faithfully. So that on the last day when we stand before God, we too will have that, yes. You before God even tells you, yourself that yes, you did it. By God's grace, I hope we've been able to learn one or two things from this. I pray we all have a blessed and wonderful week. And for those of us that we are still thinking that what do I do? We are still thinking, or we've not given our life to Christ. There's no way about it. The Bible says that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth. Like no man comment unto him except, through Jesus. So I pray that the Lord minister to each and every one of us. We have a divine encounter with him so that we can know who this Jesus Christ is. Have a wonderful and glorious week. Bye.